Hi, you're listening to the Horizon podcast. My name's Gareth from High Horizons Plus.
I'm Sam from the Development and Alumni Relations team.
You're probably wondering what those jobs are and who we are, so we'll give you a little bit of info on what it is. So High Horizons Plus is a government-funded project to help underrepresented groups of young people access higher education. It's a collaborative piece with 4 universities, including Staffordshire, Keele, Harper Adams and Chester, and our main aim is to support the young people of our area and support them on their career journey.
And mine is Development and Alumni Relations, which is a team title that just rolls off the tongue because it's ever so short and sharp and snappy. So I'm part of Staffordshire University, so half of my job, the development half, is fundraising for students to support them in transforming their lives. So we help to create scholarships, bursaries and opportunity awards that mean that students can do everything that the degree is offering and become the best that they can possibly be for when they graduate and leave us and go into the big, wide, scary world. And the other half of my role is alumni relations. And this, in a nutshell, is a team of 4 very nosy people, because we just like to know what alumni get up to, where you've gone, what job you've gone to, what country you've now moved to, anything really. We just like to know. We're the annoying aunt that is cheerleading you from the side. So that's it's a very good job, and it's allowed me to meet some interesting and amazing people.
I think that, Sam, is the perfect way of introducing what this podcast is all about. So we are nosy people, want to interest people who are doing a wide variety of careers. So we've got people like oncologists, cybersecurity experts, we've got gamers, we've got people like me and you that are ex-students now doing something really cool, like presenting a podcast.
I'm so glad you said ex-students, because I hear ex-graduates far too often, and it sets me off. It gives me a nervous twitch because nobody's an ex-graduate, not unless we took their degree away, and I can't do that. I don't have that power.
But what we're going to do is a really informal series of podcasts interviewing some really wonderful people, and we're going to do it in a really interesting way, and we're hopefully not going to annoy you too much.
Okay, so that's all the information about us, and hopefully gives you an idea of what this podcast is going to be about. And with this being our very first episode, we wanted to get you excited for the next issue of the Horizon magazine. Now, this is the Staffordshire University magazine, but it's not just for people of staffs, it's not just for alumni, students, it's for everyone, because we've tried to make it so that it's got amazing features that give you some of these insights into the amazing things that are going on locally, globally, through all the connections that we've got. You might have had it before. Guys, have you had the magazine? You're an alum of staffs. You should have been having, hopefully, a magazine for some time.
Yeah, I graduated in 2005, so I've probably moved house about 17 times since then. So I'm going to say, for the purpose of this podcast, I have received them, I have seen them, but they were over 10 years ago.
Okay, we can work with that. It also means that it's a great time to highlight that the next issue of the magazine, we are working on making it more digital, more interactive, so that it means that people like Gaz, who move 17 times, can still access it through the website. They can download a link, you can have it direct to your inbox, however you want to engage with it, however you prefer to read the magazine, we've got you covered. Okay, so we've got Keith Brimer-Jones, who is filming the latest season of the Great Pottery Throwdown. Obviously, Heart of the Potteries. Of course, Keith has to come back this way to do it. But of course, Keith is known for being emotional, and he opens up within his interview with us to give us a little insight on just how emotional he can be over ceramics and how passionate he gets for the contestants, for them doing it. So it might even make you shed a tear or two.
It's interesting, actually, because we're now getting to a point where the potters have really kind of connected with each other, and there's a real community spirit in the studio, on the set there was, and that's partly, well, largely actually down to the, obviously, the having to sort of bubble up for filming. So there's definitely a feel of more of a community spirit, not just within the potters themselves, but also the cameramen, the soundmen. We all had to isolate for the whole duration. So it was very emotionally charged. When I was first asked to do the show ages ago now, obviously, I said to the head honcho of Love, Rich McCarrow, who I know really well, get on really, really well with. But I said, look, I don't want to do car crash TV. I don't want to do, X Factor or Britain's Got Talent type stuff where you set people up to fail and the audience have a good laugh at someone else's expense. And let's face it, with pottery, you could quite easily do that.
Yes.
There's lots of things that could go wrong. But no, he reassured me that he really wanted to sort of extol the sort of virtues of pottery through, obviously, the medium of a light entertainment program. But lo and behold, I think that's what we've managed to do. We try and be incredibly encouraging to all the potters, whether they sort of succeed or fail, because that's the nature of creativity. To be perfectly honest with you, it is a process of trial and error, and you learn through your mistakes. Never more so with a creative experience, to be honest.
Okay, so going back to pre-pandemic times, I mean, it just casts my mind back about 100 years that gets us back to that point. What's gone on for you during this past year?
Well, it's crazy. Within the pandemic time, I've moved jobs. I spent 13 years at Newcastle Stafford Colleges Group. I returned home to Staffordshire University, joined this wonderful Higher Horizons Uni Connect project, moved house, had a baby, cried a little bit there, so bring it on to your previous point. And now I find myself co-hosting an amazing podcast with your good self, Sam.
So not done much then, really, in the past year. It's just
a little bit.
Just a little bit. Just, bringing life into the world, changing jobs, entire, part of that 17 house moves. 18 now, I'm guessing.
Yeah, we moved 4 doors up, yeah.
Oh, it's not far. Just throw the boxes. It's all right. But the magazine actually covers a lot to do with the pandemic because it's impacted on everyone. And the phrase is unprecedented times, and it really has been.
How was it for me? Okay, I didn't bake any banana bread. I did put on weight. I have since done more running. I learned how to talk to people on a computer. Teams became the bane of our lives. Zoom became quiz night. But ultimately, more than anything, it showed that the world is getting smaller and that we can talk to people anywhere on the globe at the drop of a hat. So there's been so many negatives, but so many positives to come out of it for me as well, that I'm almost looking forward to being released into the real world again. And with this podcast, we're starting to meet people face to face again, and I see some sort of excitement brewing.
I can't wait to meet people face to face again. That's going to be amazing, probably tiring, but still amazing. So I'm so excited for that. Although looking at some of the hobbies that my fellow colleagues have been getting up to, Professor Karen Rodham features in the magazine because she got crafty during lockdown. So she has been knitting of all things. She picked up knitting. So we will knit into this part here. Here's a snippet from Karen's interview for the magazine that gives you a little insight into what she has been getting up to.
I've always been a bit of a dabbler in crafts. I knit quite badly and love making things for my niece and nephews. And in March, like lots and lots of people, I was beginning to worry about what seemed to be heading our way. And I find dabbling in crafts is a way of quietening the worry because you have to be in the here and now while you're doing your craft. So I made a picture of me putting what I called the what if monster in a box and posted it on Twitter, and basically then slipped into doing one sewing a day.
So leading on from the pandemic and everything that's been going on in the past year, the magazine, of course, touches on that as a topic. We couldn't not with everything that's gone on recently. We have an amazing feature from Sian Griffiths, one of our brilliant honorary doctors, looking at the SARS inquiry, the pandemic as a whole, just keeping an eye on the science of what's been going on.
I'm a member of the Board of Public Health England, and I'm also a member of the Board of Public Health Wales. So I've been involved in as a board member with both those organisations. But more specifically, because in 2003, I chaired the Hong Kong government SARS inquiry, and SARS, of course, is a coronavirus, and my experience from Hong Kong, having chaired the inquiry and then working in Hong Kong from 2005, that enabled me to understand sort of what the pandemic might mean, or how we might get into a pandemic from the first outbreak in Wuhan. So I've been doing a lot of media commentary on the pandemic and its progress, and so that's really what my main contribution has been, about talking on the media and also trying to explain to people about some of the impacts at the various stages.
Following on from Sean's brilliant interview for the magazine, we've also tried to look at the pandemic in a different way and stumbled across some absolutely stunning photography from our soon-to-be alum, Gabrielle Brown. Her final year project looks at quarantine queens, because of course we're all queens. Gaz, you're a queen, I'm a queen, we're all a queen, we just need a crown. And what Gabrielle did with her work was taking anyone from the world, so herself, her friends on the course. She even pulled in a dental nurse as well, with all masked up, crown in place. Absolutely stunning photography done from it. And of course, that has to be the front cover for the magazine. Too beautiful not to.
I took a self-portrait. That was how the Quarantine Queens began, which was by chance I happened to have a crown to hand. I've got a young daughter, so there was a crown. And I just took this self-portrait of me with a mask on, and I think, some people were finding it quite tough, and I just thought I'll do something a little bit sort of light-hearted and fun, and so I took a self-portrait wearing a mask and a crown, and posted it on my social media and got really sort of positive feedback from friends and things, and it kind of stemmed from that. I thought, actually, this could make a really nice series. So over the course of, as the lockdown started to kind of lift a little bit, I did a lot of outdoor shooting, brought in a lot of friends that were very keen to kind of get involved, and it stemmed from there really. And then I ended up with a whole kind of host of beautiful, glamorous quarantine queens, and it was something a little bit fun. I think, the lockdown, everyone was feeling a little bit kind of fatigued by the end of it, because it was a really long process, and so it was just fun to kind of be glamorous and just do something a little bit creative. I think as well, boredom breeds creativity for me, to begin with. There wasn't a lot to do, there was nowhere to go, we were very, very confined. Just I felt like I needed to pick my camera up because I hadn't for a couple of months, and that kind of idea spiraled and kept me creative, which was really positive.
Okay, so that's some of the exciting stuff we've got coming up in the next edition of the Horizon magazine, and that gives you a great overview of this Horizon podcast that's brand new. We've got some amazing guests that are going to be joining us and sharing their lives, giving you some insights, some hints, tips, maybe a bit of gossip if we can get it out of them.
Always need a bit of gossip, and that's one thing that I've missed over the years with moving house 17 times. I've missed on them incredible Horizon magazines, those amazing people, and it pays to be nosy, Sam, always. That's what we want.